I'm ready. Somebody recording with you?
Yes.
Awesome.
In 2007, AAA, a Japanese pop and R&B group, released 4 full-fledged albums in 1 year. To put into context, they put as much albums out in 1 year. They put out as much albums as Jonas Brothers did in their 4 years, and more than what Fifth Harmony has done in their 6.
In the past couple of years, East Asian music genres such as Chinese pop, Japanese pop, and especially Korean pop have become more popular in the United States. With an immense growth in popularity and their songs charting on Billboard, it is not hard to question why young adults so engrossed on the culture of the East Asian music industry.
Since we're not well versed in the East Asian music industry, we have compiled and looked over articles, music videos, video materials, and input from an individual who knows what it consists of to present you information from an unbiased point of view.
We would like to inform you all on how becoming a successful music group captivates new crowds and leads them to becoming new Asian music fans. Broken up into 4 parts, we will go through key components that go into forming an acknowledged music group in Japan, Korea, and China. First, we will act out a small scouting procedure. Excuse me, would you like to join our new music group? You look exactly what we
No,
would
thank
do.
you.
Really? We will make you really famous.
No, it's okay. I'm fine.
What we just showed you is an example of how a handful of East Asian idols have gone and scouted. Although this way of scouting might seem a little bit sketchy and uncomfortable, this is an extreme normal practice in the Asian music industry. From simply going out with friends, eating, or heading to the restroom, you never know when a talent agency will approach you. In the Snoopy article, H. Gordon gives us examples of crazy ways idols have gone and scouted. One great example would be EXO Sehun. In elementary school, Sehun was out eating with friends when a staff member from SM Entertainment handed him a business card. Sehun attempted to flee, but was pursued for about half an hour until agreeing to take an audition. Another great example would be Sana, a Twice member. Similar to Sehun, at the age of 14, Sana was scouted by JYP Entertainment when shopping with friends at a shopping mall in Japan. At first, Sana was doubted if she could trust the recruiter, but gave in after she remembered that well-known celebrities attended the label as well. Both of these stories are examples of what captivate fans into knowing more about this industry. As we demonstrated, the scouting procedure is a bit unnatural. However, it remains as the #1 way idols have gotten scouted. According to Alicia Jones inside the life of a Japanese idol member, idols are not necessarily picked for talent, but for their looks and marketability. The need for good looks and a pretty face have resulted in scouts not focusing on raw talent. There are still, of course, many other ways an individual can get into a talent agency. That way would be to audition. According to Soulspace, a website that focuses on Korean entertainment, there are 3 types of auditions. A walk-in audition, where locals or foreigners could audition as long as they're in Korea and in person. An online audition, where an individual would send a video of them performing their skills into an agency web browser. And a callback audition, a second audition, where auditionees who already passed the first auditions with either walk-in or online would go in for a second performance and most likely be given a trainee contract on their journey to stardom. Although auditions are different, they all require individuals to be skilled in dancing, singing, or rapping. If trainees don't meet these standards, they won't be able to join an agency and debut. When agencies aren't holding auditions, they'll probably be hosting competition shows. where of many agencies would be introduced to the public eye and prepare their skills to debut. The article, 5 Chinese Idol Shows to Watch in 2021 by Jody Tanko, led us to shows like Youth with You 3, where trainees would compete. This gives us information on why the industry is so crowd-pleasing. Simple television entertainment.
Even after auditions and being placed into a group by an agency, trainees are still not close to debuting. Contracts, assessments, and idol lifestyle practices are hurdles that they all need to get to before their debut. However, pre-debuts and debuts aren't that different. Even with weekly assessments and certain restrictions, idols are still required to adhere to the same etiquette training that they were taught as trainees. After interviewing a source from Japan, she said, quote, "Although a trainee averages a 2 to 4 year contract prior to debuting, their contract technically has no set time limit and only varies from agency to agency." An interesting article written by Patty Sunio from the website SCMP touched base on what goes on during a pre-debut and debut of K-pop artists. Sunio says that trainees have to be able to blend in with their designated group, survive scenarios that relate to the idol hardships, avoid trouble, and maintain good public image, etiquette, and weight. This also means they have to avoid allegations, scandals, drug, and alcohol scandals. Lastly, trainees need to take language classes in Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and English to have more exposure to their Western audiences and increase sales and popularity. These are some of the ways that they advertise their debuts. Hae Min-seon, also known as Wei from the former K-pop group Crayon Pop, explained on her YouTube channel the breakdown of how albums are made. First, they need a concept using Twice's album from the group that Sana was a part of. This is like business casual and independent woman. It kind of is like an overall theme for what songs they want to put in their album and what they want it to be about. After all of their songs are chosen and rehearsed individually, the parts are divvied up and distributed, where they sign a contract with a song distributor. Music videos are also an important part of their debuts and comebacks, which are debuts after their first debut. Choreography, filmography, and after production are crucial because those are how they get most of their audiences. Lastly, albums come in physical and digital form. If it's in a physical form, there will be the CD, pictures from their photo shoot, and 2 photo cards. These groups are then asked to advertise it after their release. Although most might think that the heavy lifting after debuting is over, it is just the beginning of their hardships. With competition left and right, casual releases and a great debut aren't enough to keep the group afloat. To avoid being forgotten by fans and supporters, agencies will release a release pattern for their artists to keep their spot in the fame and everything. This is just one way that idols remain in the limelight. However, some idols and some groups don't have that choice. Whether it's debt problems from their debut or recovering from previous allegations or scandals dug up by their followers, disbanding is still inevitable. Song Ji-hyun, also known as H.O. from Madtown, spoke on these struggles in his YouTube channel in 2018. Through Dispatch, it was found that smaller groups and smaller agencies charge a huge debt on their members after they first initially debut. Song Jae-ho says there are 500 million from their debut production, and it's the team's debt. Split amongst 7 members, to share the debt, it's about 70 million won per person. He goes on to say that basically, debuting after their first debut is not enough sometimes to keep up with the big guys such as SM, JYP, and YG. We hope that this research and interview was enough to inform you about the elements that are used to gravitate young audiences into starting music groups and becoming one with the East Asian music industry.
Now we know why East Asian music genres have risen to the public eye. Not only is the industry presenting various forms of entertainment, but they allow fans to become one and be a family and part of their idol life.
These are just some of the statistics on how East Asian music groups have grown over time and their popularity from the views of 2008 to 2020. So I ask you, would you give East Asian music a place in your playlist?
Yours in order.